Instagram now lets you bring 3 people into your live broadcast with a new feature. WhatsApp releases voice and video calls on desktop. TikTok releases a new Q&A feature. All this and much more coming up in this week's edition of the Connected Church News. At the end, we also have a bonus section where we are talking about how to use Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces for ministry. You don't want to miss that. I'm Natchi Lazarus. Welcome. And this is the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news each week in less than 5 minutes. Let's get started. Our first big news of this week is from WhatsApp. WhatsApp releases voice and video calls on their desktop app. I know there are many churches, ministries and non-profits listening to me who work in different parts of the world where WhatsApp is very popular, and it has lots of interesting features like groups and lists that helps you communicate with large group of people with much ease just on your mobile. But now having these voice and video calls on desktop is going to be even more helpful because in case of a ministry situation where you need to discuss something either with your team members or with the people you serve as a non-profit, it's very easy now for you to assign the work to your team that uses a desktop app to quickly get on a video call or a voice call and have that conversation. So I think it's a big feature. Hi, have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? If you've not done so, please subscribe and also click on that bell notification so that you do not miss any weekly news episode. Staying on top of the news can really help you as a church and a ministry leader. Thank you for doing that. Now let's get back to our news item. Our next big news is from Instagram. Last week, Instagram announced a very important feature called Live Rooms that lets you bring 3 guests into your live show. And earlier you could do this with one person. So you can do a live and then bring another person on to have a discussion with you. Now you can do that with total of 4 people, including you. So you can bring 3 other guests. And this opens up new possibilities for ministries and nonprofits because you can have a discussion on a particular faith-based topic, or you can talk with your church congregation, you can talk with people and pray with people, you can have multiple people praying together. So there are lots of interesting applications that you can see in a ministry setting. And it also, the more people are involved, the live show also will show up on all the guests' newsfeed, bringing their audience to your live show. So I think it's a great potential, that it has great potential. So I'll link to all the details in the show notes. Do check it out. This also has shopping and fundraising features built into it. So definitely check it out. Our next news is from Google. Last week, Google announced that Google Play Books now has new tools to help children read better. The tools include a feature called Read and Listen, where children can actually listen to a book read out loud with a choice of whether the pages turn automatically or manually. There's also another feature called Tap to Read, along with a dictionary and a definition. So Google says that by tapping a word, the children can listen to that word being pronounced, and also they can read and listen to thousands of kid-friendly definitions, many of which have illustrations to support comprehension and learning. So if you are in any type of children's ministry, or if you're a non-profit working in the area of children education and so on, then this could be an important news for you to pass on to your social media team. Our next news is from TikTok. Last week, TikTok announced that they are rolling out the new Q&A, question and answer features to all creators. Any feature that helps you engage with your audience is something that's worthy of your attention. So here is what the announcement says. It says in videos, users will be able to designate their comments as Q&A questions, which are then labeled as questions in the comment section. So there will be a label next to it. And then the announcement also says that creators can then respond to questions with comment responses or video replies. So you can actually reply as a video, just like they would with other video replies to comments, and add Q&A comments as stickers in the response. The new video will link back to the original where the question was first asked. So a very interesting feature. The way they've structured it is very user-friendly and has the capacity to boost engagement. So definitely check out this new feature on TikTok. The final news of this week is from Pinterest, which is one of the fast-growing social media platforms today. Pinterest had its first ever global advertisers summit last week. It's called Pinterest Presents. And during the summit, they released new tools for advertisers and marketers. So I wanted to bring a couple of those tools to your notice. One is a video ad format called Pinterest Premieres, which allows you to target people who watch videos. Interesting how Pinterest is fast becoming a video platform. So along with other Instagram and TikTok and all of them competing for the video space, not to miss out YouTube, Pinterest is also becoming a quick video consumption platform for people to look at tips and quick videos that help them with practical stuff. So definitely a platform to check out. And the other thing is they also talked about Trends tool. I will link to the Trends tool in the show notes. There's another interesting tool called Pinterest Predicts, which talks about the future trends which have not yet happened. So I will have all these details in the show notes to check it out. Those are the top 5 news items I had for you this week, but don't go away. We are going into the bonus section where we are talking about how you as a ministry can use audio chat room apps like Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces. You don't want to miss that. Let's dive right in. Welcome to this bonus section where each week we spend a couple of minutes talking about digital strategies, tools, and tactics that could be helpful for your ministry. This week we are talking about how to use audio chat room apps that are fast rising in popularity, like Clubhouse, which is the leader right now in that space, and also Twitter Spaces, which Twitter introduced recently, and also upcoming Facebook's own Clubhouse version. So all of this are coming up and coming. But I wanted to talk to you about this today because I see this as an important trend in the future where people find it very easy to jump into a chat room with anyone. So for example, if you go to Clubhouse, you can see various chat rooms and all of that listed based on your interest. So let's say I'm interested in Bible-based conversations, or I'm interested in prayer or something like that. I can see the rooms various people are hosting on those topics, and I can just jump in. I mean, there's no invitation, there's no permission, nothing. I can just jump in and I can have that conversation with of course with public chat rooms. There is option for private, but most rooms are public because the idea behind these platforms is to be a social network. So you can just jump into these rooms and you will see on stage there is a section called stage where people are having this conversation. I've been part of many stages now, and it's very interesting. So people are talking about a particular topic, and then you can be, as a listener, just listening to it, and it could be sometimes incredibly insightful. I've had some amazing insights in some of the chat rooms that I've been in, both Twitter Spaces and in Clubhouse, mostly in Clubhouse now, and I've also been on stage sharing some of my experiences, and it's been amazing. I mean, the amount of knowledge that you can get is so incredible, and the access to best brains that gives you that authentic transfer of knowledge from this person to another. So anyway, that's an introduction on what these are. Now, I see them as a big trend. So how can you use this as a ministry? So as a ministry, you can use this in multiple ways. So I just want to list some of the top ways that I think you can use. First is community building. So you as a nonprofit ministry, you already have a community, and it's much easier for you to get this community on a platform like this. For example, Twitter Spaces. As long as somebody has a Twitter account, they can jump into your space, and you can build this community by inviting a few of them to come on stage. For example, even a church. I mean, you can have, like, every week you can have a church community building session on Clubhouse, and you can invite your congregation and maybe pull up 1 or 2 members of your congregation to come and talk to you. And I mean, imagine that. I mean, you can't do that in a church setting because there's a time limit, there's space limit, the people are busy and so on. But if you do this, and if your congregation knows that your church is having a Clubhouse session every week and your pastor is going to be there, and they show up, and you can bring them on stage and ask them to share their faith story or their testimony or their challenges or prayer requests or anything. I mean, what an incredible way to build community, right? So that is one. The other is community expansion. So as you do this, think about it. Other people can actually look at your room and join the room. So that way you are expanding your community, your church congregation or your nonprofit community. You can expand it in new ways. As let's say you have a prayer community and somebody comes in and they have a prayer request. It's a chance for you to connect with them and to bless them and to minister to them. So community building, definitely. And then research. So it's a great platform for research. So suppose you're going to talk about a particular sermon, you can actually jump on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces and have this room and say, what do you think of this topic, and get inputs from people. I mean, anybody can give you inputs on that topic. So So it could be very interesting for research. And finally, it could also be a pre-event and a post-event tool. So suppose you have a seminar or an event, or even a church service for that matter, and then you can run a Clubhouse or a Twitter Spaces event after that particular event or before that event to talk about it. I mean, if you had spoken on a particular topic, you can do a follow-up, because sometimes in sermons you only have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or maximum an hour. But here you can go on and on for hours. I know, rooms that have not shut down for days. I mean, you can literally have, you can keep going on and have a longer conversation about that topic. So I don't know if you want to do that for days, but I'm saying, if you want to have a longer conversation with your community, it's possible on these platforms. So those are the things I wanted to share quickly with you today. I hope this kind of opens up a few thoughts in your mind on how to use these upcoming audio chat room tools for your ministry. If you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you. I hope that helps. Thank you for joining me. If you like to continue learning, you can click on this playlist that has questions and answers that we've had from churches, nonprofits, and ministries, and we've tried to answer them, or we've got guests to answer them. So that will be definitely helpful for you. Do check it out.